Okay, to work on our study guide, the first question says, find the perimeter of the rectangle. Dimensions are in millimeters. Let me get the camera right. Dimensions just means what we're measuring it with, which is millimeters. So perimeter, we're going to add up all four sides. Sometimes it's good to label them just so you can see them a little bit more clearly. 12 plus 12, 24. 10 plus 10 is 20. So the perimeter would be 44 millimeters. Question number 2. Find the perimeter of the triangle. We're using centimeters. Perimeter, again, is just the distance around, so we're going to add up all three numbers. 11 plus 13 plus 14 gives me 38 centimeters. Question 3. The perimeter of a square is 8 centimeters. What is the length of one side of the square? This one's different. They're telling you that the perimeter, the distance around, is 8. There are four sides to a square, so that means we divide 8 by 4 to realize that each side then has to be 2, because 2, 4, 6, 8. So the length of one side equals 2 centimeters. Question 4 is worded a little strangely because it's asking you, instead of asking you what is a radius, it's describing what a radius is and asking you to name it. So what word names the distance from the center of to the circle? The center of a circle is there. So the distance from the center to the circle would just be the radius. If the diameter of a circle is 12 inches, what is its radius? Radius is half the diameter, so the radius is 6 inches. If the radius of a circle is 2 inches, what is the diameter? Again, we're going to double it, so the diameter equals 4 inches. Classify the angle below. Is that less than 90? Yep. I can tell because 90 degrees will be like this. So that would have to be an acute angle. Okay, next page. Find the circumference of the circle. Dimensions are in inches. Use 3.1 for pi. The formula to find the circumference of a circle is circumference equals pi times diameter. They told us to use 3.14 for pi. The radius is 35, so the diameter, we're going to double it, which is 70. So we're going to multiply 3.14 times 70. We get 219.8 inches. We do not square because circumference is a distance. Number 9, same process. Put in our formula. Plug in 3.14 for pi. 2.4 is our diameter. Multiply. 3.14 times 2.4, and we get 7.536, and dimensions are centimeters, so we would just write centimeters. Find the area of the triangle. Dimensions are in feet. The formula to find the area of a triangle is area equals base times height divided by 2. Our base is 22. The height is how tall it is, and it's always perpendicular to the base, which is 8 divided by 2. So we can multiply 22 times 8, which is 176, and then divided by 2. So our area is 88 square feet. Make sure your answer to an area question has square feet, not just feet. Find the area of the triangle. Again, this one's different because the height is one of the sides. Base times height divided by 2. The base is 24. The height is 10. Divided by 2. So 24 times 10 equals 240. Divided by 2. 120 square meters. Find the area of the figure. All angles are right angles. Dimensions are in feet. So I'm going to divide this into two shapes that I know. And make sure your base times height has to be totally within the shape. So I couldn't use 6 as one of the sides because this part is in the other rectangle. So 4 times 5 is 20. This time I need to figure out what one of these shapes is. If the whole length is 6 and this length is 4, then where it stops has to be 2. Now that doesn't look like a square, but you have to believe the numbers. Don't worry about the drawing. 2 times 2 is 4. Then we're going to add both areas together to get our total area of this figure, 24 square feet. Let's do it again. Find the area of this shape. We can choose to do it a couple different ways. I could block it off that way or this way. I'm just going to choose one. It doesn't really make a difference which one you use. You'll get the same answer. But I need to make sure I know all the missing sides. So this whole side is 27. If this is 9 and this is 9, then this has to be 9, because 9 plus 9 plus 9 would equal 27. And I'm going to need to know what this is, because I have 9 times something. So if this is 22 and this is 11, then this has to be 11. And we already have the dimensions for that. So let's go ahead and find the area of all these. 9 times 22, 198. 9 times 11, 99. And 9 times 22 is still 198. We'll add those together. And get 495 square meters is our final answer. We have one more of these complex shapes. We can separate that little guy. If this is 7 and this whole side is 8, then that has to be 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 times 7, 42. So the area of the shape is 43 square feet, which would make A the correct answer. This time we're going to find the perimeter. So a similar shape, if that's 6 and this whole length is 7, then that has to be, oh, never mind, sorry. Forgot what I was doing. This side has to be 1, because we already know this whole side is 7 plus 1 plus 1, but we need to figure out what this is. If this whole side is 3 and that's 1, then that has to be 2, because 1 plus 2 would take up the whole side, which would be 3. So let's add all these numbers together. 6 plus 3, 9. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. With our total perimeter of 20 feet. Again, because it's perimeter, we do not square the feet. Okay, well, I have two missing sides. I need to figure out what this is and what this is. So let's look at the horizontal measurements first. If that's 30, and that's 10, and that's 10, then that also has to be 10. And if this is 10, then this is going to be 10 as well. Because if that's 20, then 10 plus 10 is 20. Let's add them all up together. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, plus 20 and 30 is another 50, plus 20. So my answer is 120 centimeters. Altogether, how many square centimeters does it take to cover this rectangle? You're simply going to multiply the base times the height, which is 32 square centimeters. Question 18. One side of a square is 11 inches long. So let's draw it. If we know one side's 11, don't we know all four sides are 11? Yes. So to find the perimeter of the square, 11 times 4 would be 44 inches. Find the area, 11 times 11, 121 square inches. And the last question, find the area of the rectangle. Area equals base times height, which is 9 times 8, which is 72, and our dimensions are centimeters, so it's square centimeters. The formulas, no trick to that, you just have to memorize them. Area of a triangle equals base times height times 2. Or remember, we could also say 1/2 base times height. Either way is correct. The parallelogram, base times height. Not length times width. It has to be base times height, because the length of one of the sides sometimes is slanted. Area of a trapezoid, area equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. And the area of a circle is actually, darn it, that should have been the circumference of a circle. Okay, well, on your test, it's going to be circumference, not area. Aren't you glad you're listening to? Circumference equals pi times diameter, or circumference equals 2 pi r. Either one of those formulas will be accepted. All right, good luck. See you tomorrow.